Imagine sitting at your kitchen table, holding a plate of food, and wondering if what's in front of you is quietly harming your kidneys. For many people over 50, this question is more real than they'd like to admit. The truth is, kidney disease often sneaks in silently, and by the time symptoms show up, the damage may already be done. Yet here's the surprising part. The solution isn't to give up protein entirely, but to learn which kinds can actually protect kidney health. That knowledge can mean the difference between slowing down disease or letting it steal more of your independence. I'm Dr. Brian, and welcome to Channel Vital Science for Seniors. Today we'll explore 9 of the best protein sources for kidney patients. Foods that not only keep creatinine levels under control, but also nourish your strength, energy, and joy. When I first met Clara, a 72-year-old retired teacher, she told me that breakfast had become her enemy. She loved omelets, but her doctor had warned her to stay away from whole eggs because of her kidney disease. Clara felt trapped between her cravings and her fear of doing more harm. This is where egg whites became her salvation. You see, the white of an egg is like the pure essence of protein, clean, light, and free of the phosphorus and cholesterol that often burden kidneys. Think of it as the safest fuel for your body's engine, enough to keep it running strong without clogging the filters. For most kidney patients, 2 to 3 egg whites a day is a gentle, reliable dose. Clara learned to whip them into fluffy scrambles, fold them into vegetable omelets, and even whisk them into pancakes with oats and cinnamon. Within weeks, she noticed her energy lifting, and her lab work showed stable creatinine levels. Science backs this up too. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that egg white protein supported muscle maintenance without adding stress to kidney function. It's small daily choices like this that help protect kidney health while still giving joy at the table. Clara told me one morning, fork in hand, "Doctor, I finally stopped being afraid of breakfast." That's the kind of freedom I want for you too. The freedom to eat with confidence, knowing your kidneys are safe. One of the hardest things about living with kidney disease is the quiet fear that food will never taste good again. I remember James, a 68-year-old grandfather who loved backyard barbecues. When his doctor told him to avoid processed meats, he thought that meant giving up chicken altogether. But the truth is, skinless chicken breast can be one of the safest and most satisfying proteins for someone watching their kidney health. Picture it this way. The skin is like an overcoat full of unhealthy fats that weigh your body down. Remove it, and what's left is lean, clean protein that nourishes muscles without flooding the kidneys with excess phosphorus or sodium. A portion about the size of a deck of cards, 3 to 4 ounces, is just right. James learned to season his chicken with rosemary, thyme, and a squeeze of lemon, then bake it slowly until tender. Sometimes he grilled it, the smoky aroma filling the yard while his grandkids played nearby. The key was avoiding salty marinades and relying instead on herbs and spices to bring life to the meal. Before long, chicken became his comfort food again, but this time without guilt. Clinical nutrition research consistently shows that lean poultry, when eaten in moderate amounts, helps maintain strength without worsening kidney strain. James told me, "I thought my cooking days were over, but now I feel like myself again." And that's the goal, not just survival, but a return to the pleasures of sharing wholesome meals with people you love. Margaret, a 75-year-old widow, once confessed to me that she missed the ocean more than anything. Not just the view, but the taste. The comfort of grilled salmon that reminded her of vacations by the coast. When kidney disease entered her life, she feared fish was off the table. But in truth, the right fish can be one of the most powerful allies for kidney health. Think of fish as both a shield and a repair kit. Its lean protein is gentle on the kidneys, and its omega-3 fatty acids calm the silent fires of inflammation that so often accelerate kidney damage. Salmon, trout, tilapia, cod, and whitefish are the stars here. Low in phosphorus compared to many meats, yet rich in nourishment. The trick is in moderation, a serving about the size of a deck of cards 2 to 3 times a week. Margaret learned to bake salmon with garlic and lemon zest, or steam cod with fresh ginger for a delicate kidney-safe dish. She even tried pan-searing trout in a teaspoon of olive oil, savoring its crisp golden edges. What she avoided was just as important. No smoked salmon, no canned fish swimming in salt, no breaded sticks from the freezer aisle. After a few months, not only did her energy rise, but her cardiologist noted her blood pressure was steadier too. A study published in Kidney International found that omega-3s may even slow the progression of chronic kidney disease. Margaret told me, smiling, "It feels like the ocean came back into my kitchen." Food, when chosen wisely, has that power to restore both health and memory. I'll never forget Maria, a 70-year-old who sat across from me with tears in her eyes. "Doctor," she said, "I feel like my kidneys stole meat from me. I don't know what to eat anymore." That's when I introduced her to tofu. At first, she wrinkled her nose. She thought tofu was bland and foreign. But I explained that tofu is like a blank canvas, ready to soak up whatever flavors you paint on it. And here's the gift. Soy protein is complete, meaning it contains all the essential amino acids your muscles need. Yet it produces fewer harmful waste products than many animal proteins. For a kidney patient, this is like switching from a smoky diesel engine to a clean, quiet electric motor. Less strain, more efficiency. Half a cup of tofu per meal gives about 10 grams of high-quality protein without overwhelming the kidneys with phosphorus. Maria started small, pressing cubes of firm tofu, tossing them with olive oil, turmeric, and garlic powder, then baking them until crisp. Later, she learned to stir-fry it with ginger and sesame oil, or crumble it into a golden scramble that looked like eggs but carried none of the risks. When her granddaughter visited, they made tofu tacos with lime and chili, laughing as they compared toppings. Research published in the Journal of Renal Nutrition suggests that replacing some animal proteins with soy may reduce proteinuria, one of the markers of kidney stress. Maria told me, "I thought tofu was punishment, but now it feels like freedom." That's the magic, discovering new foods that heal instead of harm. When Alan turned 66, his mornings began with dread. He used to love starting the day with a creamy bowl of yogurt and fruit, but after being told his kidneys were fragile, he felt he had to give it all up. "I can't eat anything anymore," he sighed to me. But the truth is, not all dairy is the enemy. Greek yogurt in particular can be a friend if approached with care. Imagine regular yogurt with the extra water drained away. What's left is a rich, protein-packed food that's easier to digest, especially for those who struggle with lactose. For someone with kidney disease, the key is moderation, about half a cup a day. That portion delivers the protein your muscles need without drowning your body in excess potassium or phosphorus. Alan switched to plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt, topping it with blueberries and a drizzle of honey. Sometimes he blended it into a smoothie with spinach and almond milk, creating a kidney-friendly breakfast that felt indulgent yet safe. On weekends, he even used it in place of sour cream on baked potatoes. Studies, such as one published in the Journal of the American College of Nutrition, highlight the probiotic benefits of yogurt, showing how it supports gut health. A crucial link since the gut and kidneys are more connected than most people realize. Alan's digestion improved, his energy returned, and most importantly, he rediscovered joy at the breakfast table. He told me, "Doctor, I feel like I got a little piece of my life back." And that's what food should do. Restore, not restrict. A few years ago, I met Evelyn, a 74-year-old artist who carried a small bag of almonds everywhere she went. When her doctor warned her about kidney disease, she panicked and thought she had to give up her beloved nuts. She looked at me and said, "Doctor, must I give up my handful of happiness?" I smiled and explained that not all nuts are the same. Think of them as a gallery of paintings, some brighter, some darker, some more suited to your walls than others. For kidneys, the lighter strokes are walnuts, macadamias, and pecans, lower in phosphorus compared to cashews or peanuts. A small handful, about a quarter cup a few times per week, is usually safe and nourishing. Nuts provide not just protein, but also healthy fats that soothe inflammation and antioxidants that protect the very cells of your body, including those in the kidneys. Evelyn learned to sprinkle crushed walnuts over her morning oatmeal, blend macadamias into a smoothie for a creamy texture, and even spread almond butter thinly over apple slices. The key, I told her, is portion and purity. No salted, sugar-coated varieties, just the nut in its natural form. Research in the Journal of Nutrition has shown that regular nut consumption can improve cardiovascular health, which is tightly linked to kidney protection. Evelyn laughed as she painted in her studio, a brush in one hand and her little bag of nuts close by. "Doctor," she said, "it feels like I can snack without fear again." And isn't that the goal? To nourish body and soul without the shadow of worry? When Robert, a 72-year-old retired teacher, first heard the word quinoa, he thought it sounded more like a dance than a food. But when his kidney function began to slip and he needed alternatives to rice and pasta, he gave it a chance. What he discovered surprised him. Quinoa isn't just another grain. It's a seed, packed with all the essential amino acids, making it a complete protein like meat or eggs. For someone with kidney disease, that's like finding a treasure chest that doesn't come with a hidden tax. Unlike many other starches, quinoa is lower in potassium and phosphorus, two minerals that can quietly build up and strain the kidneys if not watched carefully. A serving of half to 1 cup cooked was all Robert needed to feel full and energized without spiking his creatinine levels. He began experimenting, one morning turning it into a warm porridge with cinnamon and berries, another day tossing it with cucumbers, tomatoes, and a squeeze of lemon for a refreshing salad. Sometimes he paired it with roasted vegetables, creating bowls that felt hearty yet healing. Research in food science and nutrition highlights quinoa's role in improving blood sugar control and reducing inflammation, both critical for protecting kidneys long term. Robert told me, "I thought my meals would be boring, but now they feel adventurous." He even taught his grandchildren to pronounce it correctly, turning it into a family joke. In his kitchen, quinoa became more than food. It became proof that adapting doesn't mean losing joy. It means discovering new flavors that care for the body as much as the spirit. Doris, a gentle 78-year-old who loved gardening, came to me worried that she'd lose all her favorite foods because of her kidney disease. "I can live without chocolate cake," she whispered, "but I don't want to give up my cottage cheese." She expected me to frown, but instead I smiled. Cottage cheese, when chosen wisely, can actually be a safe and satisfying protein source for kidney patients. Think of it as the lighter cousin of traditional cheeses. While most cheeses are heavy with phosphorus and sodium, two burdens for struggling kidneys, low-sodium cottage cheese delivers protein in a softer, gentler way. A serving of just a quarter to half a cup can provide enough nourishment without tipping the balance. Doris began mixing her cottage cheese with fresh cucumbers and bell peppers from her garden, sometimes sweetening it with cinnamon and a spoonful of berries. She even blended it into a creamy dip for her vegetables, something she could share with friends without worry. The important step was reading labels carefully, choosing low-salt or no-salt added versions. A study in clinical nutrition has suggested that moderate dairy intake, especially from lower phosphorus options, does not necessarily accelerate kidney decline and may support bone health, a concern for many older adults. Within a few months, Doris noticed she had more energy in the mornings to tend her roses, and she no longer felt deprived. She told me, "It feels like I still get to enjoy life's little comforts." That's the truth. Healthy eating for kidney patients is not about erasing joy, but about reshaping it in ways that protect both body and spirit. Henry was 69 when he sat in my office, his voice carrying both hope and doubt. "Doctor," he said, "I heard about this thing called Seitan. Isn't it just fake meat?" I leaned in and explained that seitan, sometimes called wheat meat, is indeed made from gluten, the main protein in wheat. But for someone without gluten sensitivity, it can be a powerful ally. Picture a food that looks and tastes remarkably like meat, but delivers high protein with very little phosphorus or fat. That's seitan. 3 ounces can give over 20 grams of protein, enough to help muscles stay strong without overwhelming the kidneys. For Henry, who missed the chew of meat but wanted to protect his kidney health, it felt like rediscovering an old friend. We talked about cooking methods, slicing it into strips for a stir-fry with garlic and broccoli, baking it with smoked paprika for a satisfying bite, or grilling it into hearty sandwiches with lettuce and tomato. The key, as always, was choosing minimally processed versions without added sodium. Research in nutrients has pointed out that plant-based proteins, including wheat gluten, may generate fewer toxic byproducts than animal protein, easing the load on compromised kidneys. Henry gave it a try, and a few weeks later, he came back smiling. "Doctor," he said, "I grilled it, and for the first time in years, it felt like a cookout again." Food should not only sustain us, it should connect us to memories, traditions, and joy. For kidney patients, Seitan offers that bridge, turning what feels like restriction into possibility. If there is one truth I want you to carry with you, it's that living with kidney disease does not mean giving up on pleasure, flavor, or hope. The 9 protein sources we've explored, each one carefully chosen, can help you protect your kidneys while still enjoying meals that nourish both body and spirit. Whether it's the simplicity of egg whites, the heartiness of seitan, or the comfort of cottage cheese, you have options. And every choice you make is a step toward protecting your kidneys, lowering creatinine, and reclaiming strength. I'm Dr. Brian, and I want you to know that change is possible at any age. Your meals can heal, your habits can protect, and your future can still be full of joy. If this message spoke to you, I invite you to like, share, and subscribe. And for even more support, visit our friends at Health for Diabetics for diet tips that fit hand in hand with kidney health.